I am joined by Alexi Lalas. I'm your host, Ian Joy. Alexi, let's get straight into the highlights. It wasn't very easy for the US men's national team to get the ball from Brazil early on, and they went behind to a classy goal.
Well, they're playing Brazil. It's a good team. It's a better team than the U.S., but it's one thing to get beaten by soccer and better technical ability. It's another thing just to get beat by sheer speed. Right here, Robinson, Douglas Costa just goes around him. That's all about speed. And Matt Miazga not tracking his runner is once again about speed. That will be a recurring thing we'll talk about in a little bit.
Absolutely fantastic ability there from Costa, but the U.S. did have a chance. Weston McKennie at the back post.
Hey, newsflash, the U.S. men's national team is really good on set pieces. Put the ball in the box and good things will happen. Weston McKennie right here on the doorstep, unlucky to put it in.
And then Brazil, of course, continued their attack going forward. Almost got a second. Good save.
Yeah, getting some good opportunities. Zach Steffen's going to eventually see this one come through. Fabinho at the top of the box just hits an absolute bullet. Then he sees it, and not a problem for him. You can see it again. Come in here. Here it comes. Bam! Get out of the way.
And then the big talking point in the first half, was it or was it not a penalty kick?
All right, it's not a penalty. It's not even a soft penalty. It's like a liquid penalty. This is ridiculous. Look at John Brooks here. He gets completely out of the way, and Fabinho just falls down. But you know what? In the days of VAR, that would have been changed. No VAR here. Neymar steps up. Thank you very much. 2-0.
And Neymar steps up and makes it 2-0 for Brazil. And of course, there is a comfortable lead at halftime right now. Alexi Lalas, what is your positive and what is your negative from the first 45 minutes?
All right, good news is it's only 2-0. The bad news is, once again, that speed and that understanding, especially if you're going to concede possession in the way this team did, you better have some speed demons up top, and they don't have enough of that when it comes to Paul Arriola. Julian Green did better as the half progressed. At times when they did pressure, they were late. But all in all, look, you're playing against Brazil. This is a work in progress. I will reserve judgment, but that speed issue, that is a problem, because that's not necessarily having to do with actually kicking the ball. That's just a team that you're playing that is faster than you, and that is a problem going forward.
Well, the young team can certainly learn from the first 45 minutes. The U.S. men's national team with a lot of work to do in the second half. Stay with us. More after the break.
Pardon the way that I stare. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you.
One piece of KFC all-white meat chicken. 2 pieces of KFC all-white meat chicken. Holy smokes! This is the most white meat ever assembled in a $5 fill-up. Get this deal before it flies the coop. KFC.
The women are up next. It is the Women's World Cup, 273 days until France kicks off. And you can watch it all on the Fox family of networks. And of course, the CONCACAF Gold Cup, only 284 days away. A lot of work to be done for the US men's national team in the second half, but they got 45 minutes to go. Up next, John Strong and Stu Holden with a second half kick.
Saturday on FS1, Mookie